Are we live? Are we live?
Mm.
We're live. We're live. Look at all the videos. Is it okay? Hmm? Okay. So welcome everybody. Join the live to give a thumbs up. Day 3 of the Prison Break edition. How to deal with stress. You can join the live also from your end. How to deal with stress and give a thumbs up. I will appreciate that. A thumbs up, a like, so we spread the community. Welcome to day 3. When you join the live, please give a thumbs up, comment below. So today is day 3 of the Prison Break edition, how to deal with stress. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to deal with stress using some powers from God, using some coping mechanisms. So you can deal with stress with grace and maturity. I'm just checking who are joining right now, so I'm starting in 1 minute. When you join the live, we give a thumbs up and comment below. All right, let's start from here. What is stress? First of all, I want us to agree on this. Stress is not our enemy. Stress is our ally. The moment you see stress as an enemy, it becomes a problem. More of the problems, more of the stress, or more of the suffering we go through our life is from the imagination in our mind. In reality, we're not suffering. More of suffering is from the imagination of our mind. If you see stress as an ally, you're going to know how to cope with stress. And a lot of coping mechanisms will be derived easily that you can use. But if you see stress as an enemy, it's going to become a problem. There is no way a man can become very important without going through stress or learning how to deal with perma stress. It's something you should be able to do or deal with. Become important in this world. It's an essential part of our lives. So we'll talk about how to deal with stress with grace and maturity. So join the live, you give a thumbs up. Now, how can we define stress? First of all, we can say stress is a period where you feel like there is an opposition. You're trying to do something and it becomes a little bit harder, right? It's like you have never done something before and you're trying to do it. I see stress as an ally. If you're going through this life, you need stress for you to survive easily. I always say no pressure or no pleasure without pressure. If you want to enjoy pleasure, you must be pressured. More of the times, pleasure must be derived or come from pressure. But we live in a society where a lot of things have been a lot of things have been mesmerized. What I mean is the society has placed pressure on things that pressure was not supposed to be placed on. And for this reason, it brings a lot of stress on the youth of today. I'm going to bring out some coping mechanisms how we can deal with stress and survive in this wicked world. The third of all is to understand this. The society has compromised a lot of systems to a way where we live in this world as you right now. We feel like at a certain age if you don't get what the society has assumed you should have, you feel like you're not important. And a lot of people have this cry, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And I made a video about this many weeks ago. If you're not where you're supposed to be, that means you're in the grave. You have to be in the grave. There are two places you're supposed to be: where you are or where you are or in the grave. So if you're not in the grave, you're where you're supposed to be. But the society has put a lot of pressure, anxiety on a lot of us as youth. For that reason, we feel stress for no reason. I think stress should come as a result of you trying to do something new that's very important for your life. But more of the times we feel stressed because we're not getting what we think we would have gotten at a certain point of our lives. And that's a shame. We're going to talk about how to deal with stress in a very from a very wide point of view, right? Dealing with stress is a very essential thing we need to understand as far as we live in this world. Stress is part of the process. From the beginning, I make sure we understand that stress is not our enemy, it's an ally. You have to understand that stress is our ally. If you treat stress as an enemy, you're going to have a lot of problems. If you see stress as an ally, something that is very necessary for your process, is part of our life process. So we need to stress somehow, right? No pleasure without pressure. So we're going to move forward now with some coping mechanism, how we can deal with stress and survive in this wicked world. So thank you for joining. When you join the live, please give a thumbs up. All those who are joining now, please join, give a thumbs up, comment below, so I know who is watching. We're talking about how to deal with stress from a wide point of view. I'm seeing everybody here. Please, when you join, give a thumbs up. When you join, comment below, so I know who is joining and who is with me. When you join the live, please give a thumbs up and comment below. Now going further. All right. While you join and you watch, let's move forward to the next phase of today. Now, how can we deal with stress? I'm going to bring a lot of ways we can deal with stress as far as living this world is concerned. And one of the easiest ways we can deal with permanent stress, remember, stress is an ally, it's our ally. So you will only need to learn how to manage it. If you want to deal with stress like making it going away, it's not possible. All you need to learn how to do is to learn how, all we need to know how to do is to learn how to deal with stress as part of us, because it's part of the process. One of the first and easiest way to deal with stress is by understanding that stress is part of the process. When you understand that it's part of the process, you're not going to fight it. You're going to learn how to deal with it. Imagine living with someone, you feel like the person is passing. It becomes a problem. But if you accept that it's part of the process, you can't go through this life without having stress, without being stressed out, right? If you do what needs to be done, you're going to be stressed. So you see guys who are not stressed out, that means they're not doing what needs to be done. Because if any man do the things that needs to be done, they're going to be stressed. That's for sure. Stress doesn't mean you're suffering. As I said from the beginning, more of the suffering we go through is from the imagination from our mind. In reality, we're not suffering. We just imagine stress from our mind and we suffer from our mind, right? So one of the ways to deal with stress is by acknowledging that stress is part of the process. Regardless of who you are, regardless of what you believe, where you're going to, where you're from, what you know, what you don't know, stress is part of the process. So one of the ways to deal with stress is acknowledging that it's part of this process. And the second way to deal with stress is living in the moment. We'll talk about living in the moment is by accepting the things that are within your control. Live in the moment. Think about what needs to be thought now and live tomorrow for itself, right? Living in the moment is like what I have no control over, I let go. The things I have control over, I control. The things I can't control, I let go. That's living in the moment. Forgetting about the past, avoiding thinking about the future, overthinking about the future, and focus in the moment. Most of the times we think about the future and the future never meets us, right? A lot of people have a lot of plans for the future and the future never meets them. What if we live in a world where we focus on the now? We live every day as if it's your last day because one day you're going to be right. The more people focus on, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I'm not. All right, we were live. Are we live? So, all right, I think we are live. So we're going to continue. Never can stop us, right? We're going to continue. So as I was saying, to deal with stress by understanding that you need to live in the moment, you forget about the things you have no control over. Time is coming when we need to focus on the things we have control over. More of the time, we stress a lot because we focus on the things we literally have no control over. I know we live in a society where a lot of people have opinions on things they know nothing about, right? You even have opinions on things you have no idea about. You stress about the things you have no control over. You try to control how people talk to you, you try to control how people think. Those are things we can't control. You have the ability to control what people say to you. Maybe how they literally, okay, let me rephrase, right? You can control the people that talk to you, they can't control what they talk about you. You have the mouth. The more of the time we stress a lot because we try to control everything from external sources. But the most simplest thing we can control, we have no control over, that's our mind. If you want to live a life free from unnecessary stress, stress is essential, but there's some stress that are not essential, right? You have to focus on things you can control. That's living in the moment, forgetting about the things you have no power or control over. Yeah, that's another way to deal with stress. So I hope you're live. Join the live, give a thumbs up. Give a thumbs up. Give a thumbs up. Join the live. All right, so we're going to answer some questions right now, and we see how we can go from there. I'm going to read some questions that I have here. All right, so we're going to answer some questions right now. I think more of these questions we have like spoken about them. Let's start from here. All right, the first question says, do you think most of your stress comes from external situation or internal thoughts? Right? I feel like more of our stress comes from the internal. More of the stress we go through because it's stress of fighting from within. The greatest battle we can ever fight is battles from within. External battles, literally, more of them are not us. The battles from within. So more of the stress we can ever fight or the stress are always generated more of the times is from within. And that's the most difficult strength. That's why stress from within hits differently. And also strength from within hits you differently. If you live a life where your strength is from external sources, it's very terrible. But imagine you have a strength that is from within. That means you don't need an external validation for you to have strength or power over something, right? So strength from within hits differently, and stress from within hits differently. That's the first question. We've answered the first question already. So the second question says, can stress be a signal for growth instead of destruction? Possibly, because there are a lot of times where we go through stress is a point where we are growing. Those who are going to the gym, those who exercise this, understand this. The moment you're exercising, you go to the gym frequently, you get a little bit stressed and you feel a lot of pain on your body. That's an evidence that there is growth. So growth or stress will be an indication of growth rather than destruction. You exercise a lot, you realize you get some pain on your body, that's because you are growing. There's a growth happening. No pain or no gain without pain. No pain, no gain. right, the next question says, what traps do people fall into when they try to escape stress? There are a lot of traps we fall into when we try to escape stress, right? First of all, you have to understand that it's part of the process. So why are you trying to escape something that's part of the process? And one of the traps you fall into is a trap where you feel like you have no control over any other thing again because you're trying to escape from a reality. If you bury your head under the sand and pretend reality does not exist, doesn't make reality false. So we have to understand that reality will always be reality. And you escaping from stress is like burying your head under the sand and pretending there is no day, there is no light, of which that is false. That's it. So the next question we have here is, now the question here we have is, what if the problem actually is not the stress itself? What if it's the way we handle it? I said this already. More of the times it's not about what we go through, it's about how we handle the situation. So the event is maybe not that important compared to the response. So the way you respond to situation is more important than what happened. So your stimulus is more, or your response is more important than the stimulus itself. You may go through stress, but how do you manage it? How do you escape the situation? The word escape doesn't mean running away from it. The word escape in this context means managing it, because it's something you have to deal with all the rest of your life as far as you want to be important, because it's very difficult to be important without stress. That's it. So where are we now? Where are we? So join the live, give a thumbs up. Give a thumbs up, give a thumbs up. Join the live. So today is day 3 of the Prison Break edition. Last 2 days we had the day 1, yesterday day 2, and today day 3. Day 1 we spoke about the principle of no light without dark. Day 2 yesterday we spoke about systems that keeps us trapped. And today we are speaking about how to deal with stress. So tomorrow is day 4. I'm going to continue with amazing stuffs, more powerful stuffs, and that works, right? So don't be weak. Tomorrow, same time, we're going to do something. So today we started a little bit earlier than usual. I think it's just 5 minutes past 11, but we're done. I don't want this to be long. We have to learn how to manage our time wisely. So we're going to see you tomorrow, same time, for the Prison Break edition, day 4. We're going to talk about more interesting stuffs as the previous days. So stay blessed.